Hello and welcome. How are you today? How are you? Good morning. It's a pleasure to see you here. It's a pleasure to have you. And for me, it's a pleasure as well. After 1,045 programs, I still enjoy doing this. So welcome to program number 1,046. It's a lot of programs. But it doesn't matter. I still enjoy it. And today I want to finish the family. The Johnson family. I want to finish the story. And we'll move to a different family. Nigel Perkins. We'll start with Mr. Perkins and his family. His wife Margaret Perkins and his son Ronnie Perkins. Okay, un hijo un poco descarriado, pero vamos. That's for the future. But today I want to finish with this. But first I want to talk about should. Should is debe, yo debo intentar ser buena persona siempre. I should always try to be a good person. Debo ser cortés con los demás. I should be courteous, polite to everybody. Debo hacer siempre lo mejor que puedo. ¿A que sí? I should always do the best I can. All right. Should. Should es como suaves imperativos morales. Digo suave porque en un fuerte imperativo moral probablemente cambiaría a must. I must. Must is debo por todos los medios. That's must. Yes, I must. But I should know. Should is a recommendation. Should isn't an imperative. It's about should. Yo debo ser bueno, debo intentar ser generoso en todo momento. Fine. Eso no es un imperativo moral, pero es una recomendación moral. That's should. Should. ¿Entiendes? ¿Me explico? Should. Must. Hombre, debes intentar por todos los medios ser más generoso. You must. Should is, yo creo que deberías ser más generoso. It's different. So, should is suave, imperativo moral, y también debería o deberías, recomendación, sugerencia. Oye, no deberías hablar tan fuerte con esta gente. You shouldn't speak. No deberías hablar así con esta gente. You shouldn't speak that way. Deberías ser más, deberías usar un poco más de mano izquierda. You should be more tactful. O sea, con más tacto. You should be more tactful. Should. Should has a third meaning. Y mucho de you shouldn't do that. No deberías hacer eso. You shouldn't do that. Third, there's a third meaning. Con toda probabilidad, con toda seguridad. Yes. This book, I don't think I'll finish this book by the end of this program. By the class number 1,200. I don't think I'll finish this. But the expression book, I should finish it. Yo creo que sí lo voy a terminar, seguramente. I should finish this one. But I don't think I'll finish this one. I should finish this one. Aquí no es yo debería terminarlo. No estoy recomendando que lo termine. Lo estoy diciendo con toda seguridad. Lograré terminar este libro, pero este no. Antes del final del curso. I should finish this one, but I don't think I'll finish this one. All right. Should. Now, there's an alternative to should, which is ought to. Ought to. O-U-G-H-T. Ought to. Forget it. Don't worry about it. For listening comprehension, yes. Because we use the expression a lot. But not for you. Don't worry. For speaking, should. Deberías estudiar más. You should study more. No deberías perder tu tiempo en esas cosas. You shouldn't waste time in those things. Should. Ought to is the similar. It's exactly the same. But don't use it. You don't need to use it. You don't need it. Should is a perfect replacement, a perfect alternative, and it's easy to remember, easy to say, easy to structure, and ought to is less easy. It's more difficult. Ought to. However, for listening comprehension, yes, you need to understand it. I think you ought to include Marta. Creo que deberías incluir a Marta en este proyecto. I think that you ought to include Marta. I think you ought to. Pero ningún nativo dice ought to. Siempre dice oughta. I think you ought to do it. I think you ought to do it this way. I think you should do it this way. So should is perfect for speaking. You need to understand ought to. Okay, let's finish. The Johnson family. Aquí están todos juntos. The Johnson family. Yes, Philip Johnson, Nancy Johnson, Denise Johnson, and Nancy Johnson, the mother. So, Philip Johnson is relieved. Aliviado. Qué alivio. Philip está aliviado. Philip Johnson is relieved. His wife, Nancy, has finished her work on George Clooney's house. Perdón. Pasado simple. Philip Johnson is relieved. His wife, Nancy, finished. No has finished. Porque dice hace 2 semanas. Finished her work on George Clooney's house 2 weeks ago. And now she's back in her daily routine in Lincoln. Now she's back in her daily routine. If you remember, Nancy's daily routine was to go to a technical school, a vocational training center. At 10 o'clock in the morning, she gave 2 classes in interior design. Then she went to a bank to help a friend with expansion plans. And then in the afternoons, she did decoration work, freelance decoration work. And so she's back. She's back in her routine. Está de vuelta en su rutina. She's back in her routine. Her daily routine. Dice aquí su rutina diaria, cotidiana. Her daily routine in Lincoln. Last night. Last night. ¿Qué pasó last night? Last night they made the decision to build the house of their dreams. Wow. Yeah. Last night they made the decision to build the house of their dreams. Tomaron la decisión de construir la casa de sus sueños. No está mal. $250,000 más. Okay. So, last night they made the decision to build. Do you think building the house of their dreams would bring happiness? I don't know. Last night they made the decision to build the house of their dreams. For more than 5 years, they had been debating whether to stay in their current house until the kids went off to college, or to hire a construction firm to build the house that they had designed together when the kids were still little. Vaya frase. All right. When the kids, Michael is 15, and Denise is 11, going on 12. Denise is 11, a punto de, going on 12. So they're not little children anymore. They're adolescents. But when they were still little, Philip and Nancy designed a house, the house of their dreams. But they kept it in the drawer. Drawer is el cajón. They kept it in the drawer to decide when to build it. One alternative was to wait until the kids went off to college. When the kids went off to college, to go to college in American English means ir a la universidad, to go to college. To go off to college, con OFF, se entiende que se desplazan a otra ciudad. O sea, ya no están en casa. Vuelan del nido, decimos. They fly the nest. All right. So, the last night they made the decision to build the house of their dreams. For more than 5 years, desde hace más de 5 años. For more than 5 years, they had been debating, un debate aquí, whether, sí, quedarse en su casa actual, whether to stay in their current house until the kids went off to college, or to hire a construction firm. A construction firma, una compañía constructora, empresa constructora. To hire, contratar. Or to hire a construction firm to build the house they had designed when the kids were still little. All right. Okay. Now they have $250,000 more in their bank account thanks to Nancy's work with George Clooney. Now they have $250,000. Además de lo que ya tenían. So they have maybe, I don't know, $300,000. No está mal, no? It's a lot of money. All right. And in Lincoln, Nebraska, the houses are not expensive. I mean, you can buy, in Lincoln, Nebraska, you can buy a house for 300,000 euros that here in Madrid would cost 1.5 million. That's the difference. It's much, Madrid is not the most expensive city in Europe. In fact, compared to London, Paris, Rome, Vienna, Berlin, Copenhagen, Stockholm, Madrid is relatively inexpensive for the moment. I think it's moving up to a European standard. But in any case, but nevertheless, but still, aún así, still como todavía, significa también aún así, but still, it's much more expensive than Lincoln, Nebraska. More expensive than New York City? No, but more expensive than Lincoln, Nebraska? Much, much more. You can buy un palacete por medio millón. I mean, you can buy a palace in Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, the population is only 160,000 or 170,000 people. It's an important city because it's the capital of Nebraska, and it's the home of the University of Nebraska. But it's not really an important city in the United States. And besides, it's very far from the normal centers of activity. The main centers of activity are, of course, New York, Boston, Washington, the corridor, Boston, Washington, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, San Francisco, Los Angeles. And then Denver, Atlanta, Miami, etc. Okay. But nevertheless, Lincoln and Omaha, Nebraska is very important for agriculture. These are very important for agriculture. It's an important city. But a house that you buy around Madrid or Barcelona for $1.5 million in Lincoln would cost $300,000. The same quality, the same size. It's an enormous difference. So, with the $250,000 that Nancy earned decorating George Clooney's house in Aspen, Colorado, is going to allow them to build the house of their dreams. To build the house of their dreams. ¿Tú tienes ya la casa de tus sueños? More or less. No. Casa of their dreams. But be careful. Many times, a marriage, when they build the house of their dreams, they divorce. Yeah, because material things don't bring happiness. It's true. It's true. But in any case, I don't know the future. I imagine they will stay together. I imagine. Nancy has a lot of new ideas on decorating the new house. Her 8 months in Aspen, Colorado, working on George Clooney's house, had changed her views on a few things. Había cambiado sus opiniones. My view. View is mi vista. Point of view, punto de vista, view, to view. But my views means my opinions, mis opiniones, mis vistas, o sea, mis puntos de vista. My views, my points of view, significa lo mismo. Mis vistas, mis puntos de vista en inglés es el mismo significado. My view on this Mi opinión sobre esto, my view on this, my point of view, my opinion on this, my perspective on this, etc. So, working 8 months on George Clooney's house in Colorado changed her views on a few things concerning decoration. And she wanted to make a few changes in the original decoration plans. But in any case, the family is happy. Yes, she's glad to be back. Nancy is glad to be back with the children. Yes. Denise has grown. Denise is growing. Mira, está ya más. She's taller now. Yeah. Se está estilizando. Yeah, very typical. The ballet teacher, la profesora de ballet, the ballet teacher thinks she has the potential to become an excellent dancer. And Michael, he's the star of the junior basketball team. Finally, the coach moved him down to the junior team. But he's the star. Yes. His coach originally tried him out for the senior team, but decided to move him down to the junior team. All right. The coach is certain. Certain. Estoy convencido. I'm certain. Escrito certain. Viene la misma raíz que cierto. Estoy cierto. Se dice en inglés. I'm certain means estoy segurísimo. Muy seguro. The coach is certain that Michael will become one of the best basketball players in the nation. In the nation, en todo el país. El mejor de la nación. No se dice aquí nación. El mejor de la nación. La nación española no se dice. Pero en inglés americano, sí, mucho. The best of the nation. Se dice más. El mejor, para decir el mejor del país, se dice el mejor de la nación. Más que del país. The best in the country is correct. For example, the University of Chicago or Stanford is the best university in the country. Perfect English. Stanford is the best university in the nation. Se dice más. All right. In the nation. We use it a lot. The number one in the nation. And Michael's coach thinks within 2 years, Michael Johnson will be among the best basketball players in the nation for his age. So he'll probably get he'll surely get a scholarship to an important university. All right. Yes. And Philip is now the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. So now Philip Johnson is a member of the board of directors at the bank. So now Philip is in a position to have more influence on the policies, las políticas del banco. Y no solo ejecutar las políticas, sino formular las políticas, which is different. It's more interesting. Yes, Philip. Yes. Philip is now the Chief Executive Officer of the Lincoln Bank, as well as the General Manager. Ahora es Director General y Consejero Delegado. All right. Fine. Congratulations, Philip. All right. This means that he is not only the boss to all the bank employees, but a member of the board of directors. He hopes to be able to influence the older members of the board to make some changes that he feels are necessary. Yes, Philip is 40 years old now. When we started the story, he was 39. So he's young. Philip is young. He's 40. In the bank, there's several board members, and most of the board members are over 60. So it's a different generation, of course. And the older generation is more conservative, more traditional. And Philip believes there are some changes that need to be made in the policies of the bank. Now he's a member of the board, miembro del consejo. Now he's a member of the board. So now he's in a position to begin to influence the other board members and to try to institute o implementar, to implement necessary changes in the bank. Okay, well, good luck, Philip. Good luck, Michael, Denise, and Nancy. Congratulations, Nancy, okay, on a very interesting job. All right, let's go on. Expressions. How much time do we have, Marta? Do we have time for some expressions? A little bit. We have a bit of time. Page 134. 134 at the top. To jump at the chance. No, pues ya lo he dicho. That's from yesterday. That's from 3 days ago. 135, sorry. All right. To jump out of your skin. This is a British expression. Saltar fuera de tu propia piel. Me ha llevado un susto. Se entiende, eh? To jump out of your skin. Wow, to leap out of your skin. Yes, yeah. Cristina se llevó un susto tremendo cuando vio la rata. Okay, Christine jumped out of her skin when she saw the rat. All right. Jump out of your skin. To jump out of your skin. I've never used this expression. I think I've never heard it. But it makes sense. Pero tiene sentido, it makes sense. The jury is out. The jury is still out. Esto sí lo uso mucho. The jury is still out. The jury, in the court. In the court, you have the judge, the prosecuting attorney, the defense attorney, and the jury, and the public, general public. All right. And the defendant, el defendido o el acusado, se suele decir. We say the defendant, el defendido. All right. The prosecuting attorney is el fiscal. And the defense attorney is el abogado de la defensa. All right, the defense attorney. And you have the judge, el juez. You have the jury, el jurado. The jury is 12 people, 12 people. The jury. And when the proceedings are over, the jury goes to another room to deliberate. Se dice deliberar, no? To deliberate. And then they come back with the verdict, el veredicto. The verdict, in Inglés, verdict, the verdict. Innocent, or guilty or not guilty. Se suele decir así. No se suele decir inocente. Culpable o no culpable. Guilty or not guilty. All right. The jury. Now, si no ha vuelto el jurado, todavía está en deliberaciones. The jury is still out. El jurado todavía está fuera, o sea, fuera de la sala. Y esta expresión se usa de forma figurada mucho. Quiere decir que todavía no se sabe. Cambio climático, bueno, causado por el hombre. El jurado todavía está en deliberaciones. It means it's difficult to give a precise answer. The jury is still out. Aquí dicen, hay dudas sobre ello. No hay una opinión clara. The jury is still out. No tengo ni idea si es culpable o no. Hay dudas sobre ello. I have no idea if he's guilty or not. The jury is still out. Bueno, eso es casi material, físico. No hay una opinión clara sobre si es una buena idea ponerle la vacuna de la gripe a cierta gente. Okay. The jury is still out on whether it's a good idea to give certain people the flu vaccine. I've never had the flu vaccine. ¿Tú sí? La vacuna del antigripe. Me neither. I've never done it. I've contracted the flu, la gripe, no resfriado, la gripe. The flu maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, I think. And a cold, resfriado, catarro, once every 3 years, once every 4 years. Not very often. Yeah. Except for my cervicals, I'm in very good health. I'm very fortunate, I think. Yes. The other day, Well, now, once a week, I'm giving an English class. Estoy dando una clase. Gratis. Privado. To a man who is 90 years old. Tiene 90 años. And the class is at 9 o'clock in the morning. I go to his house. His house is only 200 meters from my house. Por eso lo hago yo. It's only 200 meters. And he's a very intelligent man. Very interesting man. But he's cumplirá 90. He's 89 years old. All right. And so we spend 1 hour talking. It's not an English class, really. It's a conversation. And he's in good health. He's 89 years old. And he's always dressed with a tie. Siempre con corbata y traje. 9 o'clock in the morning. And I say, what's your secret? Tener ilusión. Tener ilusión. To look forward to things in life. See you tomorrow.